for a few seconds.
Okay. Hello everybody and welcome back to Talk of the Town. My name is Brian Kelley and we have an unbelievable guest here today. I'm continuing that series, Behind the Faces of Milton. I hope you've enjoyed some of the shows and gotten to know some of your neighbors in town. What a town we have here. What a country. Anyways, today we have another guest, and this is Diane Ferrari, like the automobile, right?
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And Diane does a very important thing in Milton. So you need to listen to this show. You need to find out because you could make a difference for one of your neighbors in this community by finding out what it is exactly that Diane does. Diane is a licensed social worker, and she has an office. And her office is over at the First Parish Church in Milton. It's not doing church business, it's doing community business. And Diane, why don't you tell people a little bit about what you do over there, and we'll give them some education and see how they can help their neighbor, or maybe you can help your neighbor by helping out with what Diane does. Diane, take it away.
Okay, Brian, thanks for having me. I am the social worker at the Milton Residents Fund at First Parish Church. Actually, there are 4 charitable funds that are, they've belonged to the town for over 100 years. The first 2 funds were established in the late 1800s by the Swift Sisters charity. And then later, Henry B. Martin, who was a town clerk for many years, he was, his daughter was a member of First Parish Church, and in the early 50s, she left donations from his death to the charity in Milton to benefit the needy.
So what kind of needy does this benefit? Milton's needies? Is that what this needy?
Yes, all 4 funds are strictly for the Milton needy, and they can be of any ages. Before the 1950s, the funds strictly went to help seniors in the town. But after the 1950s, when the government came up with social programs that benefited elderly, they decided to expand the population to any age group. And now we really help people of all ages. I would say that the funds help primarily people that are poor and low income, working, non-working. We know that economic times are very hard, and things have gotten.
There's no poor in Milton. Come on.
Oh, you know, a lot of people think of Milton as exclusively a wealthy community, but really many of the clergy and many of the people that work with people closely in town know that there are many people in need in the town, and the funds are really used for a wonderful purpose. And we primarily help people with utilities, rent assistance, childcare expenses, that type of thing. But I would say in this economy it's been heavily oil bills, gas, and electric bills. So that's.
I just filled up my tank and got a bill.
Yeah.
Oof.
It's really, you know, the local fuel assistance agency is Quincy Community Action, and we always make sure when people come to us for assistance that they know to apply to Quincy Community Action for fuel assistance.
Is that part of Joe Kennedy's initiative?
No, it's a separate thing. Quincy Community Action is part of the federal program and state program to get money to the needy during the winter for heating assistance. But Joe Kennedy is a separate program, and everyone is able to apply to Joe Kennedy and try to get reduced fuel, at least 100 gallons, I believe, per family this winter.
Right. So you get to meet applicants, so people meet with you or are referred to you by a minister or a priest, and
Right.
they come to you and you assess whether they need any help, whether you can help them or not. Is that how it works?
Yes. The referrals come, I would say, heavily from Quincy Community Action and the United Way and other places that people call to find out about charitable assistance. And anyone that's from Milton gets directed to the Milton Residents Fund,
Which is
us. And then sometimes we get referrals from the Council on Aging, the school system, guidance counselors, clergy, that type of thing. But primarily they come and I meet with everyone. It's very confidential, it's very private, no one knows anyone's name, And we go over a financial assessment that's very close to what they would do with Quincy Community Action before being approved. I think the difference between our funds and the state and federal funds are that we strictly go on a case-by-case basis. We don't have those hard and fast
restrictions that they might have.
Restrictions, cutoffs.
Nope. If you have too much income, they're going to say no. Wait,
Right.
You might have a family that may have a little more income, but has a special situation that just because they have that income doesn't mean it's meeting their needs at this time, and you're
Right.
able to help them.
Exactly. And sometimes, people are so grateful because they may have just missed the eligibility guidelines
On the federal basis.
on the federal basis. So they're working hard to get ahead to be able to keep up with these fuel utility bills, and yet they're not eligible for any assistance. So their budgets are already quite stressed, and then they come to us, and they're very relieved that we can offer some assistance.
Is there any demographic that you see more of, like maybe a single parent, or is there any particular demographic that seems to be in your office more than others?
Well, I would say that the liaison trustee that I work with has said to me, she's been involved for over 30 years with the funds, that we used to, years back, primarily see seniors in the town that needed assistance.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly more and more we see younger single-parent families, people impacted by divorce, death of a spouse, and we see really more and more of a variety, which I think is reflective of the diversity of people living in our town now. We see in just this year more people calling us again for help that have been doing okay, that have been, kind of holding it together, but the cost of utilities is just skyrocketing and really affecting those families. We see more married couples, more working couples coming asking for assistance this year.
Are there people you find that need help that have been hesitant to contact any of these agencies, and maybe someone has referred them to you, where you had to reach out to them versus them coming into you? Have there been any cases like that?
There have been cases like that, and a lot of those cases, it's been nice because school personnel, nurses or guidance counselors, have really contacted us, my office, on behalf of a family, and we have quite a few examples of that. And then we try to call people, assure them that the meeting with us will be private and confidential. But we sometimes have people that walk into town hall asking, is there assistance for rent, tax assistance, that type of thing. And very
Can
often,
you help me with my water bill?
yes.
Forget the oil bill.
I know. Well, we do get a lot of requests, and I guess just to clarify the purpose of the funds are for people that have no nest egg or no safety net of savings or...
That's quite a few people, I'd imagine.
Yeah, there are more and more people that are in difficulties. So we really are thoughtful and careful about how we distribute the funds, and of course the more well-known we become, the
more people who come to see you.
There's both more need and more awareness that we're there, so we have to give a smaller piece of the pie to people.
Well, you know what? Maybe we can change that, Diane.
That would be wonderful.
Well, my belief is, matter of fact, there was a very nice woman that passed away in Milton last week, and her name was Barbara Stebbins. And matter of fact, they had a memorial service for her. And on the back of the little program from her memorial service, it says, in lieu of flowers, donations to be made in her memory can be sent to the Milton Residents Fund, which is the address of First Parish Church, where your office is.
Right.
And I think that, maybe if you're doing a little better than most, maybe if, and I know, hey, I was reading in today's paper, in Haiti, they're selling, some of the poor are selling mud cookies. And people eat these because it takes away some of the hunger pains and stuff. And, they're getting parasites and everything from the land. So, believe me, even our poor are doing better than some in the world, but you might not think things are going too well for you, but in reality, you're doing very well. And maybe, you can reach in and make a contribution to the Milton Residents Fund so that the trust, the endowment that they have from these nice people that have served the town in the past who have left these funds, they can only draw off a certain amount of these funds every year. It's probably around 5% or something like that. And they look at like the last 3 years, the last 12 quarters, and they average it out to come up with an amount that can be distributed. And the stock market has an impact on this also. So when the market's down a little bit, it reduces the amount that can be paid out to these families.
Yes.
So if you're doing a little better, or if you're looking for something, I know there's plenty of organizations in town and around the community that are always looking for money. But if you can put the Milton Residents Fund on your list and maybe cut a check and send something over, you're really helping people right here in Milton, and you're making a difference. So, and people like Diane will now be able to assist others. And then the other side of the story is if you know someone in need of help, hey, direct them, to Diane, or you call Diane. Now, as a matter of fact, you can call Diane. Your number's right here, Diane. Tell people how they can reach you.
Okay. You can reach me at 617-696-1214, and that's at the First Parish Trustee's office, right next to Town Hall, First Parish Church. Brian, you brought up something about hunger, and I should say that I'm very connected to the Milton Food Pantry. I serve on the board, and actually all of the families that come to see me, many of them are connected to the Milton Food Pantry and visit the food pantry every Saturday. The pantry averages about 60 to 65 families per Saturday that they're open.
Wow.
But they have, I believe, well over 100 people signed up to use the pantry. And most of those referrals come through my office when people meet with me. But I was going to add that even in Milton, as you said, sometimes we can be surprised to know that people can be hungry. And over the last year, I've given a few families emergency food during the week when they can't quite make it to Saturday to the food pantry. And so it's an eye-opener to see that, particularly in times where money's tight for the basics of housing and keeping your family warm and keeping the lights on. Sometimes you have to cut corners, and food can be one of the things that people cut corners on, and that's pretty upsetting. Sad. Yeah, pretty sad.
Or they go to a lower nutritional food.
Right.
They say that many of the poor, they have on TV or in Boston, they have they recognize women, one of those radio stations. They have a big
Magic, I think it is.
I think it's Magic, and they bring in women that have made the difference.
Exceptional women.
And I heard on the radio one of the women, she was talking about, people don't understand why many of the poor will eat at a McDonald's or something like that. And what she said, she doesn't really blame them because it takes away that hunger pain. Again, it's a quick fix, to have the French fries or something like that. The problem is it's not nutritional long term, so it doesn't sustain them for a long time. But it's hard to believe in this day and age. There's so much poverty and so much hunger in the world, and it's right here in Milton. And so, I think the challenge with all of us is it's easy to make people into nobodies. Just to close an eye to that. Just kind of it's just like kind of walking down the street. A homeless person. It's easy to just turn your eye and like they don't exist. They exist. There are problems in the community, there are problems in the world. Nothing is perfect, and you can make a difference. And so, hey, give Diane a call.
Right.
Write a check. The Milton Residents Fund.